In the far reaches of the galaxy, on a planet known as Varith, life thrived in ways that seemed almost magical to outsiders. The planet was covered with lush forests, shimmering oceans, and towering mountains capped with snow. It was home to an advanced civilization called the Varians, tall, slender beings with smooth blue skin and glowing eyes that reflected their wisdom. They built cities that floated above the ground, powered by energy drawn from the stars themselves. Among the Varians were two young scholars named Jeho and Su Bin. Both were curious and eager to learn, spending most of their days buried deep in the Grand Repository, a massive library filled with ancient scrolls, holographic records, and artifacts from across the galaxy. While many of their peers focused on studying modern technology or politics, Jeho and Su Bin preferred exploring myths and legends. They believed that even the oldest stories held truths worth uncovering. Jeho was tall for his age, with sharp features and a quick mind. He often wore glasses that magnified his already intense gaze. His passion lay in history, particularly tales of civilizations long gone. Su Bin, on the other hand, was quieter but equally brilliant. With her gentle smile and thoughtful demeanor, she excelled at deciphering old languages and translating cryptic texts. Together, they made a perfect team, balancing each other's strengths and weaknesses. One day, while sifting through dusty shelves in a forgotten corner of the repository, Jeho stumbled upon something unusual, a small, metallic disc etched with strange symbols. "Su Bin," he whispered, holding it up to catch the light. "Have you ever seen anything like this?" Su Bin leaned closer, her brow furrowing as she examined the markings. "No, I haven't," she replied. "But these symbols, they look familiar somehow." After hours of careful study, they realized the disc contained fragments of a story about a species known as humans. According to the text, humans were once powerful and widespread, traveling between stars and shaping worlds. However, they eventually disappeared, leaving behind only whispers of their existence. Most Varians dismissed such tales as mere fables, meant to entertain rather than inform. But Jeho and Su Bin weren't so sure. "This can't just be fiction," Jeho said, pacing back and forth. "Look at how detailed these descriptions are. Humans supposedly built machines capable of bending space and time. And get this, they're described as having soft, pinkish skin and round eyes. Doesn't that sound different from us?" Su Bin nodded, her fingers tracing the edges of the disc. "It does," she agreed. "But if humans really existed, what happened to them? Why did they vanish?" Their discovery sparked a flurry of questions. Over the next few weeks, Jeho and Su Bin scoured every available resource, piecing together bits of information about humans. They found references scattered throughout various cultures' histories, always mentioning humans as bold explorers who pushed boundaries but also made reckless mistakes. Some accounts claimed humans destroyed their own homeworld due to greed and carelessness, forcing them to flee into the stars. Others hinted at conflicts with alien races, leading to their eventual downfall. Despite their growing fascination, Jeho and Su Bin struggled to convince others of the importance of their findings. When they presented their research to Professor Min Jun, a respected historian, he chuckled dismissively. "Humans? Really?" he said, shaking his head. "Those are bedtime stories, not serious scholarship. Focus on something practical, my dear students." Frustrated but undeterred, Jeho and Su Bin decided to continue their work in secret. Late at night, when the repository was empty except for the hum of energy lights, they pored over documents and artifacts, searching for any clue that might prove humans were more than just a myth. Their breakthrough came unexpectedly one evening. While examining an ancient map embedded in a stone tablet, Su Bin noticed something peculiar. Among the constellations marked on the map was a faint outline of a planet labeled Earth. Excitedly, she called Jeho over. "This has to be it," she exclaimed. "If Earth was real, then humans must have been too." For hours, they debated the implications of their discovery. Could Earth still exist somewhere out there, hidden among the billions of stars? Or had it truly been lost forever? As dawn approached, Jeho turned to Su Bin with determination in his eyes. "We need to find out," he said firmly. "If humans were real, we owe it to ourselves, and maybe even to them, to uncover the truth." Little did they know, their quest for knowledge would soon lead them down a path neither could have imagined. Far beyond Veritha's skies, forces were stirring, and the legend of humanity was about to become much more than a tale told in dusty archives. For now, though, Jeho and Subin remained oblivious, consumed by their excitement and the thrill of the unknown. As they left the repository that morning, the first rays of sunlight breaking through the clouds, they felt a sense of purpose unlike anything before. What started as a simple curiosity had grown into something greater, a mission to rewrite history, and perhaps change the course of their world forever. Life on Vera continued as usual for a time, with Jeho and Subin diving deeper into their research about humans. The two scholars spent countless hours translating ancient texts, analyzing artifacts, and piecing together fragments of information. Their work became an obsession, consuming every waking moment. Yet, despite their dedication, they couldn't shake the feeling that something was missing, a vital piece of the puzzle that would finally prove humans were more than just legends. One evening, while reviewing data in the Grand Repository, a sudden commotion erupted outside. Alarms blared throughout the city, loud enough to rattle the floating structures above the ground. Curious and alarmed, Jeho and Subin rushed out onto the balcony of the repository to see what was happening. In the distance, they spotted flashes of light streaking across the sky, dozens of ships descending toward Veritha's atmosphere. "What is that?" Subin gasped, her eyes wide with disbelief. "I don't know," Jeho replied, his voice trembling. "But those ships, they look nothing like anything we've ever seen." The mysterious fleet loomed closer, each vessel sleek and metallic, glowing faintly against the dark expanse of space. As the ship settled into orbit around Verith, a transmission crackled through the airwaves, broadcasting a message in thousands of languages simultaneously. One phrase stood out clearly: "We are human. We seek peace." Panic swept through the streets below. Citizens scrambled to find shelter, unsure whether the strangers were friend or foe. Whispers of fear rippled through the crowd. Could these newcomers really be humans, the same beings from amidst Jeho and Subin had been studying? Or was this some elaborate trick meant to deceive them? News of the arrival spread quickly, reaching the ears of the Varian Council, a governing body responsible for making decisions on behalf of their people. The council convened immediately, summoning experts from various fields to discuss the situation. Jeho and Subin were among those called upon due to their extensive knowledge of interstellar history. As they entered the grand chamber where the council met, Jeho felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. This could be the moment they'd been waiting for, the chance to confirm everything they worked so hard to uncover. But it also carried immense risk. If the humans turned out to be hostile, the consequences could be catastrophic. Inside the chamber, voices clashed as council members debated their next move. Some argued for immediate retaliation, fearing the unknown visitors might pose a threat. Others advocated caution, suggesting they try communicating before jumping to conclusions. Amid the chaos, Jeho stepped forward, clearing his throat nervously. "Honorable Council," he began, his voice steady despite his nerves. "I believe we should open communications with them. These beings claim to be human, a species we thought existed only in legend. If we ignore them or attack without understanding their intentions, we risk provoking conflict unnecessarily." His words sparked heated discussion. Many council members remained skeptical, unwilling to trust outsiders who appeared uninvited. Eventually, however, cooler heads prevailed. Reluctantly, the council agreed to send a response, inviting the humans to share their purpose and explain why they had come to Verith. A few tense hours passed before the humans replied. Through holographic transmissions, the Varians were introduced to Commander Hyansuk, the leader of the fleet. He stood tall, his posture commanding yet calm. His face bore lines of hardship, but his eyes shone with determination. Behind him, rows of crew members bustled about, preparing for whatever lay ahead. "Greetings, people of Verith." Hyansuk began, his tone measured but firm. "We mean you no harm. Our journey has been long and difficult, spanning generations. We are survivors seeking refuge after losing our homeworld, Earth, to environmental collapse. Your planet offers hope for a new beginning, a place where we can rebuild and coexist peacefully." Though his words sounded sincere, skepticism lingered among the Varians. Many questioned whether the humans truly sought peace or if their claims masked darker motives. Tension simmered as the council deliberated further, unsure how to proceed. Jeho and Subin exchanged worried glances. They knew the decision rested heavily on the council's shoulders, but they also understood the importance of verifying the human story firsthand. After much deliberation, Jeho spoke up again. "If I may," he said, addressing the council once more, "I volunteer to board one of their ships and investigate their claims personally. With my knowledge of their history and Subin's expertise in translation, we can determine whether they speak the truth." Subin nodded in agreement, though her heart raced at the thought of stepping aboard an alien vessel. The council hesitated, weighing the risks of sending two of their brightest minds into potentially dangerous territory. Finally, they relented, granting permission for Jeho and Subin to visit the human fleet under strict supervision. Preparations moved swiftly. Within hours, Jeho and Subin found themselves climbing aboard a small shuttle destined for flagship of the human fleet, aptly named the Eos. As the shuttle ascended into the sky, they gazed out the window at the sprawling city below, wondering if they'd ever return. Upon arriving at the Eos, they were greeted by Lieutenant Yuna, a brilliant engineer tasked with overseeing their visit. She welcomed them warmly, her smile easing some of their apprehension. "Commander Heinsook will meet with you shortly," she explained. "In the meantime, allow me to show you around." As they toured the ship, Jeho and Subin marveled at the humans' technology. Everything seemed designed with efficiency and precision, from the humming engines to the sleek control panels lining the walls. Yet, there was also a sense of weariness, a testament to the hardships the humans had endured during their long voyage. Lieutenant Yuna noticed their curiosity and offered insight into their way of life. "When your world falls apart," she said softly, "you either adapt or perish. Every innovation you see here was born out of necessity. We've learned to make do with what little we have." Her words struck a chord with Jeho and Subin, who couldn't help but admire the resilience of the human spirit. Despite their struggles, the humans had managed to survive and even thrive in the face of adversity. Eventually, they were brought before Commander Hyeong-suk, who listened intently as Jeho and Subin shared their findings about human legends. To their surprise, he confirmed many of the details they had uncovered, filling in gaps with stories passed down through generations. "We didn't expect to find anyone who still remembered us," Hyeong-suk admitted, his expression softening. "But perhaps fate has brought us here for a reason." As the meeting drew to a close, Jeho and Subin felt a renewed sense of purpose. They now carried not only the weight of their discovery, but also the responsibility of bridging two worlds divided by myth and fear. Little did they know, their journey was only beginning, and the challenges ahead would test them in ways they could never have imagined. Jeho and Subin spent several days aboard the Eos, learning about the humans and their way of life. Every corner of the ship told a story of survival, ingenuity, and resilience. The humans were a people shaped by loss, but driven by hope. They had endured centuries of wandering through the stars, searching for a new home after Earth became uninhabitable. Their journey had been marked by hardship, but also by a moment of triumph that kept them moving forward. Lieutenant Yuna, who had first welcomed them aboard, continued to guide Jeho and Subin as they explored the ship. She introduced them to other members of the crew, each with their own unique role in keeping the fleet operational. There was Captain June, a medic whose calm demeanor masked years of treating injuries sustained in skirmishes with hostile alien species. Then there was Engineer Taesik, a jovial man whose quick wit often lightened the mood during tense situations. Despite their differences, the humans shared a common bond, a determination to protect what little remained of their civilization. As Jeho and Subin interacted with the crew, they began to understand why the humans had survived for so long. It wasn't just their advanced technology or resourcefulness. It was their ability to work together, to support one another even when faced with overwhelming odds. This sense of unity struck a chord with both scholars, reminding them of values they cherished within their own society. One evening, while sharing a meal with some crew, Jeho asked a question that had been on his mind since their arrival. "Why did you choose Varith?" he inquired. "There are countless planets out there. What made you think this would be a good place to settle?" Commander Hyeong-suk seated nearby, answered thoughtfully. Vareth is rich in resources and has an environment similar to Earth's before it collapsed. But more importantly, your people seem peaceful. We've encountered many civilizations that viewed us as threats simply because we're different. When we detected signs of intelligent life here, we hoped you might be willing to listen. His words carried a weight that resonated deeply with Jeho and Su-bin. They realized how rare it was for two vastly different species to meet under such circumstances. For the humans, this encounter represented not just survival but redemption, a chance to prove they were more than the reckless beings described in ancient myths. Meanwhile, back on Vareth, rumors about Jeho and Su-bin's visit to the human fleet spread like wildfire. While some citizens admire their bravery in seeking answers, others accuse them of betrayal. General Min Ji, a high-ranking military officer known for his aggressive tactics, led the charge against them. He argued that allowing humans into their territory posed too great a risk. These outsiders could be spies, he declared during a public address. How do we know they won't turn on us once they've gained our trust? General Min Ji's fiery speeches fueled fear among the populace, dividing the Varians into two camps, those who believed in coexistence and those who favored isolationism. The council found itself caught in the middle, struggling to maintain order while weighing its options. Some members leaned toward diplomacy, urging patience and further investigation. Others sided with General Min Ji, advocating for immediate action to drive the humans away. Amidst the growing tension, Jeho and Su-bin remained unaware of the storm brewing back home. Their focus was entirely on building bridges between the humans and Varians. They documented everything they learned aboard the Eos, compiling notes and recordings to present to the council upon their return. Their goal was simple: to show their people that the humans were not a threat, but an opportunity, a chance to learn from another species, and perhaps grow stronger together. On their final day aboard the Eos, Commander Hyong-suk invited Jeho and Su-bin to observe a meeting of the fleet's leaders. Gathered around a large holographic display, the humans discussed strategies for establishing communication with the Varians. Jeho noticed how carefully they considered every decision, ensuring no action would be misinterpreted as hostile. This level of caution impressed him, reinforcing his belief that the humans truly sought peace. After the meeting, Hyong-suk pulled Jeho aside. "I want to thank you for coming here," he said earnestly. "Not everyone would take the time to understand us. Your willingness to listen gives me hope." Jeho nodded, feeling a swell of pride mixed with responsibility. "We'll do everything we can to help," he promised. "But I must warn you, there are those on Vareth who may not share our views. Convincing them won't be easy." Hyong-suk smiled faintly. "Nothing worth achieving ever is." When Jeho and Su-bin finally returned to Vareth, they were greeted by a mix of curiosity and hostility. News outlets broadcast live interviews with them, asking questions about their experience aboard the human fleet. Some reporters praised their efforts to foster understanding, while others accused them of naivety. Despite the scrutiny, Jeho and Su-bin stood firm, presenting their findings to the council with clarity and conviction. "We've seen their technology," Jeho explained. "Their ships are designed for exploration, not conquest, and their stories align perfectly with the legends we've studied. These are the same humans who once traveled the stars, and now they need our help." Su-bin added, "They've suffered greatly, but they haven't lost hope. If anything, their struggles have made them stronger. We have much to gain by working with them." The council listened intently, though divisions remained evident. General Min Ji, in particular, refused to accept their claims. "Even if what you say is true," he countered, "how can we trust them? What guarantees do we have that they won't betray us?" Before Jeho or Su-bin could respond, a sudden alarm interrupted the proceedings. A scout ship reported that several unidentified vessels were approaching Vareth's borders. Panic erupted as fears of an impending attack gripped the council chamber. Was this the humans' true plan, to lure them into complacency before striking? Jeho quickly stepped forward, his voice cutting through the chaos. "Wait. Let's not jump to conclusions. We don't know who these ships belong to. They might not even be connected to the humans." Despite his plea, General Min Ji seized control of the situation. Without waiting for confirmation, He ordered Varian forces to mobilize, preparing for battle. Within minutes, squadrons of fighter ships launched into the sky, their engines roaring as they raced toward the unknown intruders. Back aboard the Eos, Commander Hyung-suk received word of the escalating conflict. Confusion rippled through the human fleet as they scrambled to assess the situation. "This isn't right," Lieutenant Yuna muttered, her brow furrowed. "We came here in peace. Why are they attacking?" Hyung-suk clenched his fists, tore between frustration and resolve. "Order all ships to hold position," he commanded. "We will not fire unless fired upon. Remember, we didn't come here to fight." As the standoff unfolded, Jae-ho and Soo-bin found themselves caught in the middle of a crisis neither side seemed prepared to resolve. The fragile trust they had worked so hard to build now hung by a thread, threatened by fear and misunderstanding. Yet, even in the face of chaos, they refused to give up. They knew the path to peace wouldn't be easy, but they also believed it was possible, with determination burning in their hearts. Jae-ho and Soo-bin vowed to find a way to bridge the gap between their worlds. Little did they know, their actions would soon determine the fate of both species, and whether harmony could prevail over hostility. The skies above Varith erupted in flashes of light as energy beams streaked across the horizon. The battle had begun, and chaos reigned supreme. General Min Ji-ai's forces clashed with the mysterious fleet that had appeared near Varith's borders. Explosions lit up the night, their echoes reverberating through the planet's floating cities. Citizens huddled indoors, watching the conflict unfold on new screens, their faces etched with fear and uncertainty. Aboard the human flagship Eos, Commander Hyung-suk watched the unfolding violence with a heavy heart. His crew scrambled to monitor the situation, their expressions tense as they analyzed data streaming in from sensors. "Are these ships ours?" he demanded, his voice sharp with urgency. Lieutenant Yuna shook her head. "No, sir, they're not part of our fleet. It looks like Varian forces are attacking them." Hyung-suk clenched his jaw, his frustration evident. "This wasn't supposed to happen," he muttered. "We came here in peace, and now this mess." Back on Varith, Jae-ho and Soo-bin stood in the council chamber, horrified by what was happening. They had hoped their efforts would prevent such a disaster, but instead, their world teetered on the brink of war. General Min Ji-ai paced the room, barking orders into a communicator, while ignoring the pleas of those advocating for restraint. "General, please," Jae-ho shouted, stepping forward. "You don't know who those ships belong to. Attacking without confirming their identity will only make things worse." Min Ji-ai glared at him, his eyes blazing with anger. "Enough. You've done enough damage already, filling everyone's heads with talk of coexistence. These humans are trouble, and I won't let them endanger our people." Jae-ho felt a surge of desperation. He turned to the other council members, appealing directly to them. "Think about what you're doing. If we act rashly, we risk alienating the humans forever. Is that really what we want? To destroy any chance of understanding each other?" Soo-bin added her voice, softer but equally urgent. "The humans aboard the Eos have shown us nothing but kindness. Why would they provoke a fight when they've come so far seeking peace? This attack proves nothing except that fear can blind us." Despite their impassioned arguments, many council members sided with Min Ji-ai. Fear of the unknown outweighed reason, and the decision to continue the assault was upheld. As the council dissolved into heated debate, Jae-ho realized they needed to take drastic action if they wanted to stop the bloodshed. "We have to get to General Min Ji-ai," he whispered to Soo-bin. "If anyone can convince him to stand down, it's us." With determination burning in their hearts, the two scholars made their way to the military command center where Min Ji-ai coordinated the attack. Security guards tried to block their path, but Jae-ho insisted on speaking to the general personally. Eventually, they were allowed inside, finding Min Ji-ai standing over a holographic map of the battlefield. "General," Jae-ho said firmly, stepping forward, "you need to listen to me." Min Ji-ai turned, his expression stormy. "What do you want now? Can't you see I'm busy?" Jae-ho took a deep breath, steadying himself. "I know you think you're protecting our people, but this isn't the answer. Those ships out there might not even be connected to the humans. And even if they are, attacking them will only prove their worst fears true, that the universe is too cruel to forgive. Min Ji scoffed. Don't lecture me about forgiveness. My job is to keep Vareth safe, no matter cost. Subin stepped forward, her voice calm but resolute. And how will destroying innocent lives protect us? War always comes at a price. Are you willing to pay it? For a moment, Min Ji hesitated. Doubt flickered in his eyes, though he quickly masked it with defiance. Before he could respond, an officer rushed in, holding a tablet displaying live footage from the battle. "Sir, look at this!" the officer exclaimed. On the screen, the unidentified ships were retreating, their movements erratic as they fled the conflict zone. Despite being outnumbered and outgunned, the Varian forces had inflicted significant damage. Yet, something unusual caught everyone's attention. None of the enemy ships had fired back. Not once. They didn't retaliate, Su Bin murmured, her voice filled with awe. Even after everything we did to them, they chose not to fight. Min Ji stared at the footage, his face unreadable. For the first time, cracks began to show in his resolve. Slowly, he lowered the tablet, his shoulders sagging under the weight of responsibility. "Hold your fire," he ordered quietly into his communicator. "All units, stand down immediately." The room fell silent as the order rippled through the ranks. One by one, Varian ships disengaged from the fray, their engines powering down as the tension eased. The skies above Vareth grew still once more, leaving behind a trail of smoke and unanswered questions. As the dust settled, Jae-ho and Su Bin returned to the council chamber to address the aftermath. News of the non-retaliation spread quickly, forcing even the most skeptical council members to reconsider their stance. General Min Ji, though reluctant, admitted that the humans' behavior raised doubts about their initial assumptions. "It doesn't mean they're trustworthy," he grumbled during the emergency session. "But we can't ignore the fact that they held back when provoked. That takes discipline and maybe even honor." Jae-ho seized the opportunity. "Exactly. Their actions speak louder than words. If we give them a chance, we might find that coexistence is possible." Su Bin nodded in agreement. "Let's use this moment to rebuild trust. We owe it to ourselves and to them to try." After hours of deliberation, the council agreed to reopen communications with the human fleet. A formal apology was issued, acknowledging the misunderstanding and expressing a desire to move forward peacefully. Commander Hyong-suk accepted graciously, emphasizing his commitment to diplomacy. "This is a step in the right direction," he said during a follow-up transmission. "But trust must be earned. Let's work together to ensure this never happens again." Over the coming days, Jae-ho and Su Bin played a key role in facilitating dialogue between the two species. They organized joint meetings, shared cultural insights, and helped draft agreements outlining terms for cooperation. Though skepticism lingered on both sides, progress was undeniable. Bonds began to form, not just between leaders, but between ordinary citizens eager to learn about one another. One evening, as Jae-ho and Su Bin walked through the streets of their city, they noticed groups of Varians gathering around public screens showing footage of the humans' daily life aboard the Eos. Children laughed at videos of engineer Tae-sik performing silly tricks, while adults marveled at Captain Jiun's skill in treating injuries using advanced medical tools. Even Lieutenant Yuna's explanations of the ship's technology captivated audiences, sparking curiosity and admiration. "It's working," Su Bin said softly, a smile tugging at her lips. "People are starting to see them as more than strangers." Jae-ho nodded, feeling a sense of hope he hadn't experienced in years. Maybe this is what we needed all along, a reminder that differences don't have to divide us. They can bring us closer if we let them. Yet, even as harmony seemed within reach, challenges remained. Rebuilding trust would take time, and old prejudices wouldn't vanish overnight. But Jae-ho and Su Bin knew they had planted the seeds of change. With patience, understanding, and perseverance, they believed a brighter future was possible, one where humans and Varians could stand side by side as equals. As they gazed up at the stars, now free of the glow of battle, Jae-ho felt a quiet certainty settle in his chest. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but it was worth traveling. Together, they had taken the first steps toward a new chapter in history, A story of unity written not by legends, but by real people brave enough to believe in a better tomorrow. Weeks turned into months as the humans and Varians worked tirelessly to mend the rift caused by misunderstanding and fear. The fragile peace they had forged grew stronger with each passing day, nurtured by small acts of kindness and shared efforts. Jae-ho and Soo-bin remained at the heart of this transformation, serving as bridges between two worlds that once seemed impossibly distant. Commander Hyung-suk proposed a bold idea during one of their joint meetings, a collaborative project to terraform a nearby moon, transforming it into a sanctuary where both species could coexist. The moon, named Harmonia, was barren and lifeless, but rich in resources. With their combined knowledge and technology, the humans and Varians believed they could create something beautiful, a testament to what unity could achieve. The proposal sparked excitement among the council members, who saw it as an opportunity to demonstrate goodwill while addressing concerns about overcrowding on Varith. General Min Ji, though still wary of the humans, reluctantly supported the plan, recognizing its potential benefits for his people. If this works, he admitted grudgingly, it could be the start of something greater than any of us imagined. Work began immediately, with teams from both sides traveling to Harmonia to assess its conditions. Engineers like Lieutenant Yuna and Engineer Taesik collaborated with Varian scientists to design systems capable of sustaining life. They constructed domed habitats, installed atmosphere generators, and planted seeds brought from Earth's archives, plants long thought extinct but preserved through centuries of care. Jae-ho and Soo-bin joined the effort, eager to contribute their skills. Jae-ho focused on documenting every step of the process, ensuring future generations would understand how this miracle came to be. Soo-bin worked alongside linguists and cultural experts, creating educational materials to help the two species communicate more effectively. Together, they became symbols of hope, inspiring others to embrace cooperation over conflict. As the months passed, signs of progress appeared across Harmonia. Green shoots emerged from the soil, defying the harsh environment to stretch toward artificial sunlight. Rivers flowed where none had existed before, carrying water purified by advanced filtration systems. Slowly but surely, the barren landscape transformed into a thriving ecosystem, a reflection of the partnership that had made it possible. Back on Varith, public opinion shifted dramatically. Stories of success on Harmonia spread far and wide, capturing the imaginations of citizens young and old. Children played games inspired by tales of human ingenuity, while adults marveled at the resilience of a species that refused to give up despite overwhelming odds. Even General Min Ji softened his stance, acknowledging that the humans' determination mirrored qualities he admired in his own people. One evening, Jae-ho and Soo-bin stood on a ridge overlooking Harmonia's newly formed fields. The air smelled fresh, tinged with the scent of growing crops. Stars twinkled above, casting a gentle glow over the land they had helped shape. For a moment, neither spoke, content simply to take in the beauty around them. "You know," Joe said finally, breaking the silence, "I used to think finding proof of humans would be the greatest discovery of my life." Soo-bin smiled, her eyes reflecting the shimmering lights below. And now I realized the real discovery wasn't just proving they existed. It was learning how much we have in common. Despite everything, we're not so different after all." Soo-bin nodded thoughtfully. Maybe that's why the legend survived for so long. Deep down, we always knew there was truth in them, not just about humans, but about ourselves, about the power of connection. Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of Commander Hyung-suk and several members of his crew. The commander approached with a warm smile, extending a hand in gratitude. "You've done more than anyone could have asked," he said sincerely. "This place wouldn't exist without you." Jae-ho shook his head modestly. "We didn't do it alone. It took everyone working together to make this happen." Hyung-suk agreed, glancing out at the flourishing fields. "Still, your courage made all the difference. You reminded us that trust isn't given, it's earned. And you showed us that even when the odds seem impossible, hope can prevail." The group spent the rest of the evening celebrating their achievements, sharing stories and laughter under the twin moons of Harmonia. As the night wore on, Jae-ho found himself reflecting on how far they'd come. What began as a quest to uncover ancient myths had blossomed into something far greater, a bond between two civilizations determined to build a better future. In the years that followed, Harmonia became a symbol of unity, drawing visitors from across the galaxy. Its success inspired other species to seek alliances with both humans and Varians, fostering a spirit of collaboration that transcended borders. Jeho and Su Bin continued their work, chronicling the journey in journals that would later become treasured historical records. On one particularly clear morning, Jeho stood beside Su Bin as they watched the sunrise paint the horizon in hues of gold and pink. The field stretched endlessly before them, alive with the hum of insects and the rustle of leaves. A sense of fulfillment washed over him, knowing they had played a part in creating something lasting. "Do you think the humans who left Earth ever dreamed of this?" Su Bin asked softly, her gaze fixed on the distant mountains. "I don't know," Jeho replied. "But if they did, I hope they're proud of what we built here. Not just for them, but for everyone." As the first rays of sunlight broke through the clouds, illuminating the world they had helped create, Jeho felt a profound sense of peace. The legend of humanity had been rewritten, not as a cautionary tale of failure, but as a story of redemption and renewal. Together, humans and Varians had proven that even the most improbable connections could blossom into lasting harmony. And so, two civilizations once divided by myth and fear forged a future together, proving that even in a vast and unpredictable universe, the bonds of understanding could light the way forward.